There's no more room in our city.
New York City is receiving record numbers of migrants.
Today, we're going to have more than 500 adults and children come through that door.
Tensions rise as shelters reach max capacity.
We don't have to take care of
CBS Reports goes inside a crisis cities and families are facing as they fight to survive.
The United States still has that glimmer of hope for people to come here.
Fighting for a future. Now streaming on the free CBS News app.
Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to our Dialogue with series. Today, we have a very special guest. She has survived war, famine, and violence beyond comprehension, and today she is here to speak to us all. You know her, you love her. Please welcome to our studio, Mother Courage. How are you today, Courage?
I am well, thank you. And how are you?
Better now that you're here. We are honored to have you here with us today, Courage.
It's interesting to be here. I feel safe, but examined.
So, Mother Courage, tell us, such a long life of chaos and destruction, surviving so many wars, how do you go on?
How do I go on? I move in circles. Always in circles.
What a response. Courage, we of course have to talk to you about your brave daughter, Katrin. I'm sure the audience has all seen the news. What a display of, well, courage.
Yes. No, not courage. It was sadness. It was rash. My baby Katrin. She was the last of... She's just upset is all. Her brother joined the military years earlier and we never really got over it. A slaughterhouse is what I call it. All they want to do is decrease the peasant population. If there's no peasants, how will anything get done? I don't see no king cleaning or sewing or being a cook.
Funny you mention a cook. We heard you were going to run away with one. Was it Katrin that stopped you?
No, she wouldn't do that. All she ever wanted was to be married. I fear I snapped that out of her. Who marries in a time of war? But when is there ever any peace? Men have a certain affinity for me. It's indescribable, really. I'm something between a mother and a lover to them. Brother and a wife. It's complicated. I've known too many men in my lifetime. I've seen too many die. Sometimes it feels like becoming man-like is the only way to survive. A man, not a boy. Being a boy seems to guarantee death by the claws of the slaughterhouse. My boys.
Can you talk about your oh-so-famous cart?
It's my home. My business. That cart was... It was everything. I got my livelihood from that cart. It was a kitchen, a shop, a home, my children's home. They were all conceived there. Two saw it as they died. My oldest, Elif, he still hasn't returned to the cart. But I have hope. Oh, foolishly. I have hope.
Oh, who conceived there? Miss Courage.
Too many women have fallen victim to the hungers of soldiers for violence. When the battle isn't active, they continue to seek the violence with whomever they deem weaker. My friend, Yvette, was a camp prostitute. She was promised the world by so many soldiers. Why would she want the world? It is full of dirt and scum. The wars I have seen here, all in the name of God. If I am Mother Courage, then he is Father Coward. Letting boys make mincemeat of each other. You know, I sold meat sometimes. Well, really, what haven't I sold? If I didn't butcher it myself, I always wondered. Sometimes those pits just don't seem a big enough grave for all of those boys.
Can you tell us what it is like on the battlefield? We're dying to know.
Oh, dying is just what it is. The smell is indescribable, but you get used to it. The screams are horrible. You get used to it. The blood spray mixed with the dirt is impossible to scrub away, but you get used to it. It's an awful thing to get used to it. My Elif is probably comforted by it now if he is.
Israel orders new evacuation.
Israel vows to
Met-Gala fashion
change
Time to
Afghanistan
to federal leader.
Afghanistan's floods killed hundreds and wiped away thousands of homes.
With all its luck and all its danger, the war is dragging on a bit. Another 100 years or longer. The common man won't benefit. Filthy his food, no soap to shave in. The regiment steals half his pay. Still a miracle may save him. Tomorrow is another day. The new year's yet to come. All the watchmen shout, and the thaw sets in, and the dead remain. Wherever life has not died out, it staggers to its feet again. He was my height, blonde, blue-eyed, beautiful. He spoke so softly, so you had to lean in real close to hear him. He would come by my cart and we would talk. We would sing songs together and to each other. But he was the enemy, and at the time I had the opposition's flag on my cart. Didn't matter much to him. He used to help me drag my cart out to a field after business hours, and we'd watch the stars together. I don't think I ever saw as many shooting stars as I did that summer. Sometimes it was hard to tell the difference between them and the flash from the gunshots, except you knew one was beautiful and the other meant business. We were coming off a sickness that had shut down the war for a few months. I hadn't heard silence like this in, well, ever. The noise was just starting to come back when I met this soldier. The fields, though, they kept their silence. One of these nights was particularly hot. The air was sweet and sticky, but every so often a breeze would come by and lick the moisture off your skin. It was perfect. We were lying in my cart, staring up at the sky. I was leaning in close. He was talking and softer than ever. And when I turned to look at him, he kissed me. It was the gentlest, most romantic kiss. I don't give in to romance usually, but it felt as everyone started singing in that field just for us. We started meeting in that field more often. Nearly every night, we would look up at that sky and talk about life. And I would lean in to hear him, and I would turn, and he would kiss me. One night, he was talking softly about how badly he wanted to be a father. Now, this was before I had any of my 3 children. But I believed that. You know, if he wanted to be a father, I could make that happen. We tried once, but nothing stuck. He spoke so clearly of his future. He was a soldier then, but he wanted to be an artist. No time for art in a time of war, you know, but then again, when is there not war? I don't ever know if he could have been an artist, but I knew I would have supported him in the endeavor. Then one night, like usual, I pulled my card out to the field to talk. And I was left with this note. His superior had seen him fraternizing with the enemy, and he was to have no more contact with me. I would be nothing to him. I was to leave any items of his in the field, and he would pick them up the next night, and I was not to be there, lest he shoot me dead. We were strangers now. I'd always thought that maybe he was hiding in my cart. That note was some stupid prank. I was wrong. Months later, I had received a note from an acquaintance who knew him and I. They had found his bodies in his quarters. He had hung himself. Now the bugs sang in lament, and the shooting stars looked at the sky as if they were crying with me. Sometimes, I suppose, it's easier to take yourself out before someone else can. I wouldn't. He got much to live for, but I suppose now I must live on for him, right? It was all over the news. He became a story of the tragedies of being poor, being young, of being human. But he wasn't a tragedy. He was beautiful. And he denied that to the world before they could take it from him.
Well, Mother Courage, that is all the time we have left today in this segment. Thank you so much for your incredible stories.
No, not stories. That would imply there's some falsity to them. These are accounts, real life. Well, I suppose you do want a story. It's all fake. The lights, the cameras. It's all a distraction. You watch us like a hawk because we poor are the prey. I have to get back to my cart. My Elif could be waiting for me.
Well, thank you. Viewers, give it up for Mother Courage. Next up, we have an exclusive interview with the voice actors of Disney's next animated hit, followed by live-on-the-scene coverage of the destruction of the latest bot of bombings. See you next time.
Wherever life inside out. It staggers to its feet again.